Hey guys, Roman and Reaper here. So I just got done watching Nimona on Netflix. Obviously by now you've heard about this film's production history. It was originally in development at Blue Sky, which was operating under Fox. In 2019, Disney bought Fox, and then less than a year later, they shut Blue Sky because they probably thought it would be redundant, like inheriting someone else's animation house when they've already got their own. So ultimately, the project was scrapped and left in limbo until Annapurna picked it up, and in turn, they gave the release rights to Netflix, which is why we are where we are in 2023. The project has, finally hit our screens. But is it worthy of such a fascinating production story? Let's find out. So the film follows Ballister Boldheart, a common man who has been knighted into a group of elite knights sworn to protect their kingdom. However, on the day of Ballister's knighthood, he is framed for the murder of the queen. He is soon forced into hiding, vilified from society, when suddenly he meets Nimona, a rebellious shapeshifter who is equally as much of an outcast as he is, and the two of them team up to clear Ballister's name in a quest that could potentially unravel everything he's ever believed in. So, with all the positive word of mouth that was coming out about this film, and with its production history and the fact that it ultimately got that chance to be made, yeah, I was curious to check this out, and to be honest, it was well worthy of its shot. It was a very good film. For one, it is a gorgeously realized film. Like animation wise, it is dazzling. It's going for this like 2.5D look where it's not 3D, but it's definitely not 2D either. But it's also not just aping Spider Verse. This is very clearly doing its own thing with it. And yeah, it looks great. It's fluid, it's stylish, it's colorful. In fact, if anything, if anything, I can make a comparison to in regards to its look, the closest I can really come to is Paperman, the Disney animated short from like 10 years ago. God, I feel old. And also, in terms of like a production design standpoint and like world building, the animation really comes into its own with an incredibly unique world that it builds. Like obviously there's full of fantasy trappings, like castles, dragons, knights. But it's also done in a way that blends that with like a contemporary modern city with, underground subways, cars, phones, TVs, and even some little cyberpunk flourishes like floating cars. It's an incredibly unique world and it goes all in on delivering it. And it even enjoys a few little sight gags, such as a semi-recurring one involving a TV ad for a dragon-based cereal, and even a scene involving a fantastical version of Monopoly. It's having a blast living in this world and bringing it to life. And you know, even beneath all of that and the kick-ass soundtrack by Christoph Beck, there's plenty to be had here beneath the surface. Like there's plenty of genuine heart and some really strong character work that you really get invested in. At the heart of the film is the dynamic between Ballister and Nimona, and I like how they set aside their differences and work together through mutual circumstance and genuinely bonding along the way. It's a very simple and compelling dynamic, and it works wonders. especially with the really strong voice acting from Riz Ahmed and Chloe Grace Moretz. Ballister very much acts as like the sort of straight man of the two, trying to keep as low a profile as possible, and also, trying to do things within reason, and that's contrasted really nicely by the mischievous confidence Chloe Grace Moretz brings to Nimona. She very much just kind of casually wants to fuck shit up, and it's so much fun. And even beneath that central dynamic, I really like how they explored some genuinely quite potent themes in really strong and heartfelt ways. In a way, Nimona's treatment is very much an allegory for the historic vilification and persecution of LGBTQ people, and ironically, Nimona herself is basically a transcoded character, though more specifically, I'm pretty sure gender fluid. And like even on the surface, that little through line runs present and correct. As at the heart of it, we've got Ballister's gay relationship with a man called Ambrosius, and it's this relationship which forms a really strong conflict at the heart of the film, where Ambrosius is torn between doing right by Ballister, but also doing right by the kingdom he's sworn to serve. It's incredibly strong stuff. And it's all contrasted really nicely with some really fun moments of humour. Obviously, not all of it lands. It does feel a bit lol XD random kids movie stuff at times, but you'll probably barely notice any of the misses because it lands frequently enough. But there will be plenty of frequent chuckles. And even with Nimona's mischievous nature, it leads to some very fun, like quite darkly comic moments. The standout scene involving a demon baby. If you know, you know. And the film in the final act poses an unexpected twist, which leads to some genuinely strong and potent payoffs to its arcs and themes. Yes, it does like sort of lean into some tropes, like the end of second act split between the two main characters, ultimately causing the third act to happen. But it's done with so much heart, and leads to so much genuinely like satisfying payoffs, and it's also just leads to some genuinely gorgeously realized shots that you're willing to let it slide. And it ends the film off on a strong note, and it never feels out of place with the character development of the first two acts. And yeah, I think that's really about what I have to say about Nimona. It's incredibly fun with plenty of fun little moments of humour, some very fluid action scenes, some very strong character work and voice acting, and some worthy exploration of surprisingly potent themes, as well as some strong LGBT representation. Strange World walked, so this could run. And yes, it does fall into some kids movie trappings, but you're willing to let slide because this is made with such love and such passion that you can't help but love it. And overall, I'm going to give Nimona an 8 out of 10. So yeah, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Nimona? What did you think of it? What other cancelled films do you think deserve this second chance that it got? Maybe we could eventually see Batgirl released? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.